Jonesy and Amanda.
Jam Nation.
Well, in exciting news, Australian-born Princess Mary has been crowned Queen Consort of Denmark. It's all just happened in the last few hours. Now, technically, Prince Frederik ascending to be king is huge for Denmark, but in Australia, we think it's all about Mary. What's the goss? What's happening? How amazing was it? Hugh Whitfield, Channel 7's correspondent, is in Copenhagen right now and joins us. Hello, Hugh.
Jonesy, Amanda, good morning.
Good morning. Now, I know that the Danish don't have a coronation as King Charles had in that sense of the pomp and ceremony, but it was still pretty big.
Yeah, look, massive crowds on the streets of Copenhagen, and this is very much a double celebration. Unlike when Queen Elizabeth died in London, you know, we had that period of mourning and then later celebrating King Charles, whereas here, because the Queen Margrethe has abdicated, they get to celebrate her reign while she's still alive, and then they get to celebrate a new king in Frederik X and his wife, our own Mary Donaldson, who stood alongside him on the balcony at Christiansborg Palace, the Danish Parliament, after the proclamation by the Prime Minister. And there was even a kiss between Fred and Mary. So the new reign sealed with a kiss in front of tens of thousands of people, somewhere around 150,000 people on the streets of Copenhagen, to watch them come backwards and forwards between the Parliament and the Palace. And to celebrate. And it is a little bit pared down compared to London, but still a thrilling day nonetheless.
Well, and also the rumours of the affair and stuff, that must have been a nice distraction from to have this.
Yeah, look, I think the kiss is probably a very public way of saying that all of that is behind them now and that they are very much a couple that are going to stick together. And in fact, Frederik, in his speech after the proclamation, he stood there on the balcony and read a speech to the people. And he said he needs to rely on the support of his wife and his family and the Danish people in order to be a good king. So I think some fairly pointed remarks following on from those headlines over the last couple of months. Is it something that people care about in Denmark? For the most part, it seems like they don't. And from what I'm told here, it hasn't necessarily been a factor in Margrethe abdicating. However, this has been a good way, certainly, to bring the focus back to Mary and Frederik as opposed to Frederik and whoever else he might have been with.
Yes, because as you say, Hugh, there was a rumour that with only 2 weeks' notification, really, that she was going to abdicate, people felt, is this timing to make sure that they stay together as a couple and, hey, let's accelerate them to royalty and let's move forward and nothing to see here?
Yeah, and look, we've had 2 weeks since the announcement of the abdication by Queen Margrethe on New Year's Eve. We're told that Frederik and his brother Joachim only found out 3 days before. Why has the Queen abdicated? Well, I've heard a couple of reasons. One of them is that she has been unwell. She had back surgery last year. There may have been some questioning about her judgment. She really messed up in 2022 when she stripped the titles of prince and princesses from Joachim's children, so Frederik's nieces and nephews, and that upset the boat quite a lot. And then add to that Prince Christian, so Mary and Frederik's eldest son, turned 18 a couple of months ago. He's now able to be the crown prince as an adult, and kind of that allowed perhaps Margrethe to feel confident enough to abdicate, knowing that Frederik's going to be fine as king, and the crown prince is an adult. He's 18 years old, so the heir to the throne's ready if something goes wrong.
So why did she take those titles away?
Yeah, look, it was very controversial. It's all part of, I guess, the kind of the rush in some of the royals, particularly, and even from Charles in England, trying to slim down the monarchy. They're trying to reduce costs. They're trying to show to people and the populations that they aren't bloated households with all these princes and princesses running around. So Margrethe was trying to reduce the number of princes and princesses, reduce them back to counts and countesses and kind of take some money away. It really upset the apple cart.
Yeah.
And Joachim and his wife were not happy.
Can I ask another question about what role does the royal family play in Denmark? Is it a political role? Are they just PR figureheads? What role does it have?
Well, look, it's similar to Australia and the UK in that this is a constitutional monarchy. So the king or the queen at the time are the head of state, but they don't have any real power. The power is vested in Parliament. They sign off on bills, though, but they don't really, have a huge amount of political power. They don't rule by decree or anything like that. Importantly, though, I think in Denmark, they're a massive unifying figure and a unifying family. This is a tiny country with a very small population, and they're very proud of their history. And the fact that they still have a king and a queen means they can rely on that hundreds of years of history. Back when Denmark was a great sailing nation, ruling the seas in some parts, and so it's very important, I think, for the national identity here that they still have a royal family.
Well, Hugh, good on you. Can you bring us back some ice cream from Copenhagen? Just put that in the overhead locker. That'll be all right. That'll keep.
I tell you what, I've had some very good pastries here. That's for sure.
Nice.
I tell you what, you'll have to get on the Channel 7 treadmill when you get home.
And I was disappointed that Mary didn't do a shoey. Imagine Mary doing a shoey.
Or maybe that's something you could yell out from the crowd.
Look, I think maybe we get her down to the races in Sydney, and when she comes out next time, maybe she can have a go there.
Throwing up into a handbag. So Australian. Hugh, it's always great to talk to you. Watch all the news highlights tonight at 6 on Channel 7. Hugh Whitfield, thank you.
Good on you guys. Cheers.
Good on you, Hugh.